All right, we're looking at our Dell 800R. I've got this all plugged in. I'm actually going to leave it open like this just to see if it'll boot. But I did notice when I plugged the power in, I was holding onto this little piece right here, and I got a little bit of a shock to my thumb, so I think it might be improperly grounded or something. But we're not going to run it for very long. We're just going to see if this boots up at all. And fairly confident at this point it will not. So, that being the case, I think we're going to go ahead and kill the power on this and call this one dead. Alright, so I played around with some things, and sure enough, this greasy old machine decided to boot to post. Where it goes from there, I don't know. Obviously, the processor fan is not on the processor, so I don't want to run this very long because I don't want to toast this P3. But I'm also not hearing any hard drive sounds or anything substantial, so I'm going to give it one more shot, and then we're going to close this one up. Alright, I just cold booted it and figured what the heck, we'll give it a shot, and I heard the hard drive start to kick up a little bit, but again, I really don't want to toast this P3. I might just put it back together and see if it works any better. But I also don't know. This just might be a dead system. Okay, so I put the processor fan back in place, and I noticed that DIMM 2 here, which was covered in this greasy residue, wasn't seated properly, and it is mismatching from this first sim, so I'm going to try and just boot it without the second slot filled. I'm just wondering if maybe the issue was there, although now I'm starting to read this a little closer, and it looks like that might just be DIMM 0, so I don't know if it's going to boot with that bay empty or not. But at this point, I mean, can't really hurt anything by trying. Worst case scenario, the system's a goner, or at least the majority of it is. But let's give it a shot. Let's just power it on and see what she'll do. There, we're actually getting something this time. Thinking that might have been our issue. Ooh, and we've got Windows XP, so somebody has upgraded the operating system on this, possibly more than once. Kind of exciting to have another XP machine running here. So the only question is there anything worthwhile on this machine, or is this one we clean up? It'd be quite the restoration job just to get this cleaned and running. But there's potential here. I mean, we've got a couple of PCI slots. Certainly could find a PCI network card for it. So let's just see what we get. Alright, so while it did boot up to David, Joyce, and Tom here, I've tried both a PS2 mouse and a USB mouse, and the keyboard is inoperable, so I'm going to give it just a quick reset if it'll allow it. The other thing is, like a lot of Dell machines that I've worked on, it seems like the power button doesn't really do much, so I hate to do it, but I'm going to hard boot it from my power strip here. Give it the old college try. Now on post, I see the keyboard is red, and it seems to be operable. So I'm hoping that bodes well for actually getting this thing to boot up and be usable, but I'm not going to hold my breath either. Alright, so our little Dell is an Intel P3 797 megahertz with 128 of RAM. I'm guessing the other stick I pulled out is another 128, so might explain why this thing's running so slow. But it is XP Service Pack 3, so we've got another booter, but I gotta be honest, this thing's so dirty, it's probably going to be a real project to clean it. I don't know. You tell me in the comments. Do you think I should save this system or scrap it out and keep whatever parts are worth keeping? I will say that this will make 3 or 4 XP systems that I have that are booting. That being the case, I could throw a LAN card in each one and have myself a little LAN party playing some StarCraft or Warcraft. Up to you guys. Let me know in the comments. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification button. Stay up to date with all my latest videos. Head on over to the Digital Escape podcast page here on YouTube to check out mine and Lord Uther's YouTube exclusive podcast, the Warp Core podcast, where we're talking all things Star Trek. And check out, of course, the Digital Escape podcast, myself, Lord Uther, and John Cow. Weekly episodes uploaded here to YouTube and also over on Podbean. We are lots of fun, I guarantee it. Stick around. We're going to have a lot more content coming up shortly. I've got a bunch of other machines to go through, and a few that I've gone through a little bit that probably could be tested for boot.